This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.
This is MC Reggie Fresh from the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. And folks, guess who's in the building? He claims two South Florida cities, Fort Pierce and Fort Lauderdale. He's the president and the champion leader. He's also the NFL chaplain. He's a leadership speaking coach. He's a senior pastor at River of Life Fellowship located in Fort Pierce, Florida. And he's the father of a 5-star linebacker, number 50, Ryan Shazier. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a brother and a pastor, Vernon Shazier. Welcome to the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. How you doing, brother Shazier?
I'm doing well, and a good morning to you.
All right.
It seems like it's been about 2 years we've been trying to make this happen, and so it's a joy to finally get on your show.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. That's what it is, man. Just having patience. Okay, now let me ask you. The first question I want to ask you: was you a Steelers fan growing up?
Yes, I was. You know, my mother bought me the whole Steeler gear. Steeler jacket, Steeler hat, Steeler watch, Steeler bedding, everything that I had football related was Steeler, and my brother was my arch enemy. He was a cowboy.
Wow, me too. My brother was a cowboy, brother Nolan, man. We was going at it. Okay, let me ask you this.
I do have a confession. I did adopt the Cowboys as a stepchild for a few years when Jimmy Johnson went there. You know, I'm a South Florida boy.
Okay.
And so when Jimmy Johnson went there, I adopted him as a stepchild for a little while. But when Jimmy left,
you had to let him go. He had to go back to the black and gold.
Yeah, I had that relationship.
All right, then. Now, how long was you a Steelers fan?
And as early as I can remember, man, I've been still a fan. Like I say, since grade school.
Well, what made you want to be a Steelers fan?
Man, I just love Lynn Swan and those guys. For some reason, I was attracted to them. It may have been because I didn't want to be on the same side with my brother. I don't know. The more I watched them, the more I fell in love with those guys, and that defense just made me become passionate about defense, and that is the area and the side of the ball that I fell in love as a football player and a coach. Okay,
all right then. Now let me ask you this: as a father of an NFL player, how did you keep him grounded and focused? What you have to do that, man? Because it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, very, very challenging. You know, these young men go into the professional arena at a young age, and they face so many challenges and have to deal with a multitude of distractions. But for us, our foundation has always been and continue to be our faith in God, and just trying to live out those principles and values.
Right. Okay. All right, now, let me ask you something. What about this season for the Pittsburgh Steelers? What you think and how you think we're going to do in your own words?
You know, honest, Reggie, I've been engulfed with so much the last, I say 8 months that I really haven't even paid a great deal of attention. I had planned on going up there to Pittsburgh and spending a week at training camp, hang out with my son and see how we're looking. But my father passed, and then I had another situation where My son came down here from Pittsburgh. He had the flu, gave the whole family the flu. So I was sick for about 2 weeks with the flu, so I never made it to Pittsburgh. And so I've had to glean information from tweets and, information on the media.
Okay.
Ryan and I haven't really talked a great deal about it. They started camp and his days are long.
Right, I see.
So, but I'm expecting us to stand tall and represent.
Right, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your dad, man. I'm glad you're feeling a little better, getting over the weather. All right, now, Big Ben, his time is limited. He ain't got that long to go. So we're going to need a replacement. In your own words, could you tell me what kind of quarterback we need to have to replace Big Ben, Hall of Famer?
Well, when you look at how the NFL has evolved, I think some of the basic skills that every quarterback needs to be successful in the NFL now is, to be able to stand in the pocket, pass the ball, be able to recognize defense, understand defenses, manipulate defenses. And the Steelers traditionally, their front office has done a great job at, bringing in talent, timely, and I'm sure the same thing will happen.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, as a football coach, and when rookies come in, how do you approach a rookie? When he's trying to compete for a position, how do you on your coaching, the way you coach, how do you approach a rookie?
Well, one of the things that I've found to be successful, as a football coach and a life coach, because I continue to serve as a life coach for many professional players, is to just try to get them to understand what they need to focus on, and that seems to be a good guide, because you have so many things happening, so many distractions, and so to know what you need to be focusing on will allow you to have a pretty good start as a rookie. It's a multitude of distractions these guys have to deal with. Most people have no clue of what the life is like being a professional athlete. It's totally different than the average citizen.
Right. Okay. So now, do you fuss at them sometime if they ain't doing what they supposed to do, like running and missing a play and stuff like that? Are you real hard on them?
You can call it hard, or I don't know if everybody probably would describe my approach differently, but again, my focus is always on what is the assignment to be completed, and if it's not done, then okay, let's figure out why.
Okay, constructive criticism.
You can sit there and criticize all day. I can tell you this much, as an individual who's been around football for pretty much 40 years, most guys are motivated by accolades, not by correction. The correction has its place in its timing, but I think that's one of the problems that many coaches have when you're talking about, trying to get players to play at their best level and perform at their highest level on the field, is they spend too much time criticizing instead of correcting.
Right.
And so that's what I focus. I focus on correcting and getting them to understand what they need to get done and how to get it done. Okay.
All right. Now, other than your son, could you tell me who's your all-time Steeler player?
All-time Steeler player. I can't name one. I can say, defensively, I love Mean Joe Green, man.
Okay.
I love Troy. These guys play like what one would call a bull in a china shop. They just was disruptive. I mean, there are guys who we talk about as coaches. When you turn the film on, they just jump off the film, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's impossible for you not to notice them. But I love John Starworth and Lynn Swan,
Okay.
Franco, but I'm biased to the defensive side,
All right.
but those two guys there, along with 50, are my favorites.
I heard that. Okay. Now, who's your current player right now? I know it's the preseason and all that, so you really don't know, but you might have one from the previous year. Who was your current player, your best player?
I don't think I have one current.
Okay.
My current favorite player is not able to play.
Oh, got that. That's right. Yeah. Other than him, yeah.
Yeah, but I am excited about this linebackers core. I think the Steelers have done a good job at putting together a solid linebacker core. TJ just shocked me. I was expecting him, to come out there and play, but he exceeded my expectations. And so, Bud is growing and evolving. Vince is holding up the middle, and this new guy Bush, I watched, 3/4 of the preseason game the other night, and I was excited, man. I got up, was walking around the house, started tweeting, and I got excited about, again, and so I'm excited about our linebacker core. Again, I admit I'm biased to the defensive side,
Yeah. Okay, then. All right, now, Mr. Shazier, what we're going to do now, I'm going to do a trivia question and ask you a question about the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you get it right, I'm going to send you a MC Reggie Fresh song, a CD called Pittsburgh Style that I have made for Super Bowl 40 in Detroit. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Could you tell me this guy, he came out of Ohio State. He played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was drafted in 2014, first round. And he's a linebacker, and his number is number 50. Could you tell me who that guy is? I mean, 50. Yeah, number 50. That's his number, number 50. You tell me who that guy is?
Shalee. That's the one and only, Ryan Shazier.
All right, D.
That's an easy one. I'm glad you gave me an easy trivia question. I got a little nervous when you said trivia question.
You got it, Mr. Shazier. Now, you got any shout-outs you want to give to anybody?
And I just shout out to Steeler Nation, get excited and continue to represent. It's just a great family to be a part of. I have not, in my time in the National Football League, experienced too many cultures in regards to the organization, and I have not experienced too many fan bases like the Steelers. Wow. I think you go to away games and you think you're at a home game, and so Steeler Nation continue to be Steeler Nation, continue to support our guys and give them all the prayers and just continue to do what you keep doing. I'm excited about the season. I'm glad we're getting close to playing football. I'm tired of all the media. I've gotten so many questions during this off season. I'm just ready to see some football.
You too. What? You already know. Well, it's been a long time coming for us to get on this show, man. I've been talking to you all the time, and it's been a pleasure to meet somebody like you, Brother Shazier, and I really appreciate you, man, taking the time to be on my show.
And I'm glad we was able to finally make it happen. Like I said earlier on, I think we've been trying to make this happen 2 years. So I wanted to say this, Reggie. I really want to say from the deepest depths of my heart and on behalf of my family, we love Steeler Nation. We love the Rooney family. In our darkest moment in our life, in our greatest fight of our life, that organization and Steeler Nation gave us amazing support. I don't know if we would have made it through with the sanity that we was able to make it through without the support that we've made. For every Steelers fan, I want you to know that the Steelers is an awesome organization, and the kindness and that they have shown my family and the support that they've given Ryan, it's difficult. It's challenging for me to even talk about it without just breaking into tears. And so, from the Shazier family, we love you. Thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for your support, and just continue to keep remembering to include 50 in your prayers. He's come a long ways, and he's yet has a long ways to go. But we're thankful.
Yes, sir.
They said he would never walk again, but we're thankful that he's able to walk and do things with his children and live an independent life. And so, again, we're blessed. We're blessed in spite of the tragic, that happened on that Monday night. But we have a love for the Steelers organization and the fan base that I do not have words to articulate. In fact, I don't think there are words in the English vocabulary, in any vocabulary, that can articulate how my family and I feel about the Rooneys, the Steeler organization, Mr. Rooney, Kevin, Coach T, those guys. I mean, man, if I told you just how amazing those guys were, you would be so proud of them. I mean,
yes, sir.
They never left him in that valley alone.
Wow.
Those guys was at the hospitals. Those guys was at the rehabs, trainings. I'm talking about Mr. Rooney. I'm talking about Kevin. I'm talking about Coach T. I'm talking about the linebackers moved their regular meetings to the hospital. And what that did, Reggie, it allowed him to still feel a sense of normality.
Yes, sir.
Even though he was dealing with that tragedy,
yes, sir.
Everything didn't just get taken away from him. The game got taken away. His legs got taken away.
Right.
But by them being there and surrounding him, it wasn't a sense that I've lost everything. And I've seen a lot of guys. Again, I've seen a lot of guys get injured, and they deal with their injuries in isolation. They deal with their rehab in isolation. But I'm telling you, if you are still a fan, you need to be proud of the organization, because they are a 5-star organization.
You better believe
Mr. Rooney, Kevin, Coach T. These guys was at these rehabs. These guys was at therapy. These guys was there with us 2:00 in the morning while he's in surgery. I mean, we have not had to walk alone in this valley, not one day by ourselves.
That's wonderful.
And again, it's challenging for me to talk about it without crying. I get it so emotional.
I know, man.
But I just want the Steelers nation to know what type of organization that the Steelers are. What kind of heart that the Rooneys have, and Kevin and Coach T, and just how that team just has surrounded us. It's just, like I say, man, we know that God has us and that God is in the equation, but we're humans, and you need human support too.
Exactly.
And they were there to give that to us.
All right.
They were there to walk with us. They were there to cry with us. They were there every step of the way, and I know that made a difference in my son maintaining his sanity. That had a difference in my son and how he approached each day when he woke up. It made a difference in his attitude, because every day you wake up, he could have been sour, he could have been pessimistic, he could have sat around and just cried and asked, why me? But they had him so surrounded, and everybody who walked in it was positive, and that kept his spirit up.
Right.
That kept him fighting. What they did, Reggie, is they got in our fight with us.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
They didn't leave us alone in the fight. And I will be forever thankful. My family is eternally thankful. But I won't steal a nation. I'm sharing this because I won't steal a nation to know what kind of organization the Steelers are, what type of owners you have, what type of general manager you have, what type of coach you have. This is beyond the football. Talking about what kind of people these are.
It's right.
These are people of high character and virtue.
Yes, sir. You better believe it.
Besides the X and O's, I know we like to talk about wins and losses and X and O's.
We talking about people.
These people are the type of people that you want on your team.
You better believe it.
And the Shaziers cannot say thank you enough.
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay, man. That's a warming story, man. And I'm glad that he's doing good myself, man, because it hurt me too. But hey, still a nation, baby. That's what it's all about. And like you say, it's one of the best organizations in the world. And I've been a Steelers fan since the second grade. The best. You're right. You better believe it.
It is the best.
Yes, sir.
It is the best.
Yep. You are.
The best.
All right, then, Brother Shazier. I got one more question to ask you, man. I need to know, what's the best station in the land and the station that pays?
Let me think about that one. All right. You know what it is, my brother. The MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
You got it, Brother Shazier. You got it. And there y'all have it. The 5-star linebacker's dad, brother Vernon Shazier, right here live on the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show, a station that pays.